talk now. This MMA, what we talking about? Yeah, you tuned into the pod now. Gonna be hard for you to stop now. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in.
Welcome back to another episode of Caged In. I'm your host, Chris DiCarlo. Today we got a very special guest making his return to the show. It is my guy, Andrew, the Gladiator Valdina.
What's up, brother?
How we doing today, homie?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for making the trip over to the studio. I appreciate you coming in. We would always catch up before your fights, man, so it's always cool to chop it up with you. Cage Titan 71, though, is going to be a big one. The biggest fight of your career thus far. Fighting Joe, the Party Penafiel for the Bantamweight title. Massive fight, man, going down May 24th. Plymouth, Massachusetts, of course. Man, how we feeling leading up to fight night, man? How's camp been going for you, man? How's the body feeling? Just give me a quick rundown, man. What's new?
Everything feels good, man. Feels like everything's right where it needs to be. I'm right where I need to be. Staying healthy, thankfully. Getting a lot of hard work in with all my boys, my coaches. Bouncing around to different gyms every single day. It's a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
But we're used to it. So, yeah, everything's on course.
Cool, man. I know we always talk before all your fights, and we usually recap, the previous one before we go into the next one. So let's talk about that one.
Mm-hmm.
Cage Titan 66, you went in there versus Tyler Smythe, co-main event. That fight was the biggest fight of your career for that point. Of course, we're leveling up for this next one, but let's talk about this one. Unanimous decision victory, 30-27 across all the scorecards.
Yeah.
Now that you've had some time to reflect on it, man, how do you feel about your performance that night? What do you wish you did better? Just give me a quick synopsis of that fight for you.
Well, I always say, I'm my own biggest critic, all the time. But I think that's also what's kind of driven a lot of success for me is that how kind of, critical I am of a lot of things I do, whether it's training or the fights themselves. But as far as the fight against Tyler Smythe, I think I fought really well. I barely got touched in that, and that's the end of the day what I'm looking for, right? Just putting on good masterclass performances where I'm not getting touched much. I'm dishing out a lot of the damage. And I just think that fight was supposed to happen the way it did, though. Obviously, I'm looking for finishes, and I know, the next level UFC where I'd like to be someday is always looking for people to get the finishes done, too. But I think I needed to experience a full 15 minutes, have some questions answered, too, or, a lot of these guys that have been fighting lately haven't really been grappling or trying to attempt some takedowns and stuff too. So I got some questions answered for myself. I knew in the training room my takedown defense is superb, especially my offense too. But being able to do it again, like I always say, doing it in front of thousands of people, that's a different animal, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So being able to really control every single grappling exchange with Tyler, going the full 15 minutes, barely getting touched, dealing out the damage I did, almost can't ask for a better performance.
For sure, man. I mean, he was in deep on a couple of those attempts, too. I mean, that's obviously, the best part of his skill set is his grappling and his takedowns and stuff.
Yeah.
How are you able to, keep those hips moving and keep the takedown defense going? Because, man, you were stifling all of his attacks there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I kind of just knew the game plan going into that fight was, to keep my range. I knew he was a grappling heavy guy, multi-amateur champion, all through his grappling exchanges for the most part in those fights. So I knew he didn't want to stand and trade with me much, and I knew the kind of strikes that he would use in order to enter into these grappling exchanges. I just kind of saw him a mile away, especially when I'm drilling them nonstop leading up to the fight, weeks before, every day. So. Yeah, as soon as somebody's on my hips, man, I do a pretty well job of just changing the course, putting them on their back, and having my way.
Of course, man. Were there any surprises in there for you? Of course, you went the full 15. You barely got touched in there, stuffed a lot of the takedowns. Were you surprised by anything? Were you surprised you weren't able to put him away? Anything that he kind of shocked you with the way that fight went?
To be honest, I'm kind of just... Nothing really surprised me. Looking back, as much as I'm grateful I got to experience 15 minutes of a fight and have questions answered and stuff, looking back, I just know that I could have put him away. And it's such what I could have, should have, right? Mm-hmm. But I know the finishing touches that I would have needed to do in order to get that job done. And now that I have these questions answered, man, I just think I'm going to become a finishing machine moving forward. Right back to my roots again.
Love to hear that, man. I want to talk about that knee in round 2. It was a close one. Could have gone either way there, man. I know you looked visibly frustrated after you threw it. There's a lot of questions about it, whether it was legal or illegal. Just talk me through the exchange, man, and what kind of happened there.
So, yeah, second round, I entered in with a combination. I hit a duck under, take him down. He tries to get up on top. I flip position, kind of shove him down, and now I'm in double butterfly here on top. And I'm kind of controlling him here. And as he's working his way up, using the fence to, ride up, I tried to time when both of his knees came up off the canvas. Unfortunately, I did it when there was one knee.
Yeah, it was so close.
It was so close, man. Of course, it wasn't intentional to do that illegally. It was intentional to put the dude out, like once his both knees were up. But yeah, just milliseconds, man, milliseconds.
Yeah, of course, man. It was quite looked. You could see the frustration on your face when you threw, because you could tell exactly what you were trying to do, and it was just like that millisecond. Like
well,
you
at that
said.
time, I didn't see the replays either.
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, like, all right, that's legal. Ref, get the hell off me.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Of course, man. Heat of the moment. Even the commentary was calling it legal the entire time until they saw the replay as well. It was super, super close.
Yeah.
Fight ultimately ends up going to the decision. That's the first decision you've been to since your amateur title fight versus Arthur. Ever since then, you had finishes. Talk to me about the Valdina that went to decision versus Arthur versus the Valdina that went to this last decision versus Tyler Smythe. Talk to me about that progression there.
That's cool to bring up. Completely different fighter, physically, mentally, spiritually, across the board. I've been saying this a lot in different interviews, and I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but like in my amateur career, man, I was just not my true self, and I also didn't know nearly half the stuff that I do now in martial arts, and just how to represent yourself in an honest manner, like just skill wise too, So the decision I went to with Arthur, again, that was one of the most fun fights I've ever had in my life, man. Emotions flying and shit like that. Arthur is a true competitor. He brought out the best in me back then, but it's definitely cool to see full circle, like me fast forward going against Tyler Smythe, high caliber fight like that, and just kind of dictating the entire 15 minutes. So completely different.
Of course, man. You expect to see that type of progression in 2 years, 2+ years since the fight we just mentioned, man. So it's been cool to see the rise and the progression throughout your career. And now you're going into the biggest fight of your career, fighting for your first professional title.
Yep.
Cage Titan 71 versus Joe Penafiel, a seasoned vet in MMA and in other variations of MMA as well. Talk to me about your opponent, man, because I know this fight was supposed to go down in January. We already talked about the injury. We don't need to rehash any of that stuff. If you are looking for a recap, go to my Instagram. We did a quick little catch up on there. But talk to me about just like how Party has been willing to kind of hold out for you and wait for you to fight when it was supposed to go down in January. Maybe you could have taken some other action in between, but now he's willing to wait for you until May. Just talk to me about how that kind of fluidity happened for this one.
Yeah, so like you said, we're not going to go into the whole kit and caboodle of the whole history here, but the fight was slated for January 25th. Shit happens. We were scheduled for later in the year. We didn't know the exact date at the time after January got scratched, but me and Party were both saying, like, listen, man, like, let's keep this thing going. Let's stay matched up. And I think that just made for a bigger matchup between ourselves and for everyone else involved, like just looking forward to seeing this historical matchup in Plymouth too. So it only made everything much, much better. And I condone him for it. Thank you, brother, for waiting for me. Maybe a big mistake in your end, but it's I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to sharing the cage with him.
Awesome, man. Let's talk about him and as an opponent, man. What do you know about the Party, and then how do you feel about him as an opponent for you?
He's a tough dude. Joe is a seasoned vet. I think his record's like 11-6. A lot of fights that aren't even on the pro record either, with bare knuckle MMA and a karate combat bout. So very seasoned vet. Cage Titans champ. I think he's defended it once or twice. People have grown to like him a lot in Plymouth, man. He came in as a villain. Now people have grown to like his fighting style, his personality. I think he said he's going back into his villain arc, though, for this one. I appreciate that. And he's a good dude. Having said all that, I'm going to go take his head off. Truly, I'm going to. And but he is a good guy. I trained with him down in Florida after that Arthur fight, which is just crazy. Side point here, like that fight with Arthur where I lost the amateur bantamweight championship, like 2 or 3 fights later into that night, the party's fighting for the pro bantamweight championship, winning that. And it's just crazy to see how time flies, and like now we're here and I'm gonna dethrone him. And you know, it's cool to see. And but it's all respect over here. And you guys are in for a great performance.
Yeah, man. Talk about the matchup stylistically. Where do you see yourself having the biggest advantages? Do you see anywhere that he could give you some problems, man?
I always try to keep myself as humble as possible, honest to God. And I'm sure you know what's coming next after I say something like that. But but I just really do believe I'm better everywhere. Striking department, I think I know where I am at all times, very self-aware of my abilities and where I'm at in that cage. My distance management, just knowing what strikes I can throw from different stances and ranges, and my grappling's on point too. I don't think he's going to have an answer for my takedown defense, and anytime that I want to switch it up and get into my own offense too. And my clinch is great, man. I just don't know if he's got an answer for any of it, man. I'm checking all my boxes, and I'm going to pitch a shutout.
Awesome, man. One of the strengths that I feel like the party has is his ableness to go all 5-minute rounds. He's been in an absolute war with John Duma, tons of just 5-round experience for him, and he never gives up in that area. We haven't seen you in a 5-minute round fight yet. So that might be one of the biggest question marks going into this fight. Do you feel like you've done enough in the training room to simulate that type of environment, and how willing and able is your cardio and all that stuff to last those 5 rounds?
Absolutely. I mean, I've trained every single fight to my absolute fullest potential. For quote-unquote worst-case scenario where I'm going every single round. These 3-round fights that I've had in my past, man, I know this is my first 5-round fight, but I've always geared up as if I am fighting 5-minute rounds. I think my cardio is going to be great. But a big key factor, like you say, like the party like is known for his ability to go all 5 rounds and drag his opponent to deep waters and make it a dog fight like he did. But there's also a few variables that go into his ability to do that. And one is a lot of this chaos and mental warfare that he does with a lot of these guys in the cage leading up to the fight and stuff like that. My mind really is bulletproof. I know what my capabilities are, and I know what I'm going to do. So if I'm not getting dragged into this chaos that he's trying to make me fight a different way, if I keep myself calm, cool, collected throughout the entirety of the fight, he's going to be the one that's going to be looking a little rough, round 2, round 3, if it goes that far. So, yeah.
Awesome, man. And you are currently undefeated as a pro. The party is currently undefeated in Plymouth. Somebody's always going to go here. What do you got to do to make sure that's not yours?
What's that?
So what do you got to do to make sure that's not your O that goes on?
Oh, it's not going, brother. I'm just going to be myself, truly. The way I fight is just going to be a big problem for Joe. And once my strikes are landed, man, he's going to be changing up his game plan, I'm sure. And I'll have an answer for that, too. And I'm looking to make him suffer his first loss in Plymouth.
Awesome, man. And how do you make sure, you always have had this undeniable belief in yourself, an undeniable sense of confidence. Where does that kind of come from, man? Just talk to me about that.
I mean, it's a couple different things. One, like, I believe in myself so deeply, and it's because I just put in so much work, and I made it so that I don't have any other route to take either. A lot of these guys work their different jobs, and they have different ways of living their lives, and that's great. It's probably very beneficial for them. But I've made it so, like, this is it. I don't take my mind off this at any point. You only have so much mental capacity to really think about every single thing in your life. So if my mind is only on this at all times, going home studying, eating, recovering, going back into the training room 2-3 times a day, that's where confidence comes from. I don't leave any stone unturned. And I'm also a big believer in the big man upstairs. And I really do think, and this is sounding like I'm beating a dead horse here, but I really do think this is just destined to happen. The whole way that everything went down from my first time meeting the guy to get in the cage and sharing a fight with him. Everything is right where it's supposed to be, and that's where I get confidence too.
Cool, man. And let's talk about this just training camp a little bit. This is your first training camp for a local championship, your first pro title fight. Has anything changed for you in camp, or is it just business as usual? Anything different here?
It's definitely business as usual, but like every camp, there's a lot of traveling, going to all these different gyms. I'm doing a lot more work with Pete Luciani and getting a lot of one-on-one work with him. He's opened up a new gym called Hook and Roll in New Bedford, so I just went by there and checked out the new spot. So we're in like a big transitioning phase of getting that going too.
Nice.
So getting working with him, Joe Poirier, my main trainer partner, Connor Matthews. We're getting a lot of good sessions down in the basement. Coach Mike Bromberg is a really good jiu-jitsu coach, and he's giving me a lot of help down in the basement too. And just so many guys to name that are giving me the work. And it is business as usual. Going to New England Cartel, Lozon's, Mom's Basement, Skill of Strength up in Chelmsford, Hook and Roll. And yeah.
Awesome,
good.
man. Definitely got quite the repertoire on there, man. I feel like you just keep adding gyms at this point. You're just always bouncing around to new places, man. Keeping it fresh.
When Hook and Roll opens up, man, we're going to try to make that more of a central spot because they're going to have a lot of things where you just need to just go there.
Cool, man. That's awesome. Last question, man. What can the fans in Plymouth expect from the first time they see Andrew the Gladiator Valdina fight for a title in front of them?
It's going to be bananas, man. I think people will just have their jaws dropped at how well I do as well. I think people are going to be really impressed with my demeanor throughout the entirety of, fight week, through the fight itself, afterwards. It's just going to look like I was meant to be there, and it's just business. I know what I need to do. I'm going to go do it, and everyone's going to be entertained from bell to bell whenever that fight ends.
Awesome, man. And I know you brought your shirt with you, so we make sure before we get you out of here that you don't miss any of your sponsors. This is my favorite part of the show.
Yes, sir. Well, first off,
who can we expect for you to thank on this outro today, man? Let me shout out your sponsors, give them their flowers, give them the love, man. This is your time.
Thank you.
Of course.
This isn't a sponsor, but shout out to PTU, dude, Physical Therapy U. They're in Bridgewater, and they really helped me get my body right since like January, man. So thank you guys for hooking me up. You guys were awesome. And as far as the sponsors go, these are the new fight shirts, by the way.
Oh, look at those.
Bang, boop, bop.
Those are fire. Make sure you guys go get a fight shirt, man. I better see a lot of these in the hall.
Yes, sir. This one's for you after anyway.
Oh, let's go, man.
So thank you to all the sponsors. Thank you to my coaches, my teammates, all the gyms I hit. You guys all gearing me up and keeping me as prepared as I can be, and I appreciate it, man. So for sponsors, I got Invisaware, U.S. Golden Pawn in Manchester, New Hampshire, Smart Installs, also in New Hampshire, Drake and Exhaust in Brake, hometown, Patty's Ale House, also in the hometown. That's the go-to spot after I get the dub, man.
Yes, sir.
Share a couple brews with the hometown boys. Gifted Peace LLC, Blue Horizon Benefits, G Electric, residential, industrial, and commercial, Classic Cars in Palm Beach down in Florida, Face Off Fight Co., and Northeast Custom Granite. Also, Evan Williams, thank you so much for the support this camp, brother. It doesn't go unnoticed, and it means a lot. Thank you.
Awesome. Andrew, thanks for coming over, man. Thanks for breaking in the new studio. I appreciate it. That was a good pop right there.
That was a good one.
Might have broke the mics there. Yeah, man. Thanks for always coming by and chopping up with me, man. It's been awesome. Definitely looking forward to seeing you throw down on May 24th. If you guys haven't got your tickets yet, you should go get them quick. They are selling out. Andrew, thanks for coming by, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, bro.
Got down for the count and he can't even talk now. This MMA, what we talking about? Yeah, you tuned into the pod now. Gonna be hard for you to stop now. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in.